On what?
I'm gonna make an entrance. I'm gonna make an inquiry. Cause I don't know who to call. Should I
When
call?
you said you would put
You?
solar district on the
Steve?
agenda, I didn't know you meant for today.
I left a message for Adrian.
That's all
said,
right.
I really don't know. So she's not the one. But
Okay.
that actually frightened me.
When does she start?
Yeah.
19th?
Anyway, I did make the motion to deny his petition, but I did it with
So it's 3 days.
full
before
confidence in the
BOC.
law, so
So she's
I
not
just
gonna be
didn't,
ready
I
to-
just was unnerved by the whole thing. But I couldn't find it in the minutes for this meeting, so I don't know when it was.
Mics are on and we are streaming.
What now? For outside storage? You can't get that over there, because it's not permitted in the
Yeah,
district.
so
right?
C1 and C1 is not outside.
Well, well, not that part of Airport Road. It's supposed to have been reviewed under the comp plan.
Okay, it's time to get the January 30th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting underway. First item on the agenda is the election of the chairperson and vice chairperson. Floor is open.
Mr. Chairman, I would, Mr. Newton, do you mind terribly running parliamentarian as the elections begin? Would you open
No,
the
I don't-
elections
I
and
don't
take
mind.
nominations?
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
I don't mind. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get connected. Okay. All right, are there any nominations for chairperson for the Planning Commission for 2024?
I would like to nominate Mr. Yeomans and ask for a second on that.
All right, motion's made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Ms. Upshaw, motion's made by Mr. Yeoman, made by Mr. Harris, seconded by Ms. Upshaw for Mr. Yeomans to be chairman. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, is there any objection to the motion?
No.
Hearing none, Mr. Yeomans is approved unanimously. All right, that takes us to the selection of the vice chairman or chairperson. Is there a nomination for the vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Bruce Ballard.
All right, motion from Mr. Yeomans to nominate Mr. Ballard. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion's made by Mr. Yeomans, seconded by Mr. Harris for Mr. Ballard to be the vice chairman. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none, Mr. Ballard is unanimously selected as vice chairman. Okay, just cut through that controversy, Bruce, just cut through it. Right.
It is. Thanks, sir. All right, point of order. I don't think they're here. We go ahead and address it.
How do you want to do these? You're gonna cover them, right?
Okay, item C, new business.
Good.
First item is application 2307Z. Guru Vande LLC owner, Raj Desai and Patrick Cuvée, agent, 390 Airport Road, approximately 1.33 acres, located in land lot 116 of the second district. The applicant is requesting approval to rezone from C1 highway commercial to C1B heavy commercial. This will allow their business to have U-Haul trucks for lease on their property. Is there someone here to speak to this? Would you come forward to the microphone here and state your name and address for the record?
Lisa Gonzalez and 390 Airport Road.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, what was your
It's
name
loud
again?
up here.
Lisa Gonzalez, and it's 390 Airport Road, Griffin, Georgia.
Okay, is there anything else you want to add to your application here?
No.
Do we have anyone signed up to speak?
Mr. Chairman, we have no one signed up to speak.
Okay. Thank you. If you'll sit down, we'll discuss it up here at this point. Ms. Morales, would you like to give the staff report?
Yes, sir. So, the request before you, which involves the staff report and the packet that you received, the property at 390 Airport Road would like to rezone from C1 to C1B heavy commercial with the intent to use a section of the parking lot for U-Haul parking. Upon a staff review of the property, in conjunction with emergency vehicle personnel, it was determined that based on the size of the lot, the use would not be suitable for that area. So we do recommend denial. Now, with that being said, if the planning commission does decide to approve, or recommend approval for this project, we do have 4 items that the current owner would have to meet in order to allow for that use to take place on that property, which includes, of course, a designated area for the U-Hauls, consultation for the Board of Commissioners, and we will also need a traffic flow plan. The rental vehicles need to be parked in a paved area. And we will also need more information on their water detention facilities that are located in the rear part of the property to see if they do want to open up that landscape area that's in the front for more parking.
Okay, thank you. Okay, commissioners, we have any discussion from up front here? Go ahead.
I have a question. It says the utilities, under utilities, it is served by public sewer, yet we discussed down there is a septic system there?
There's a, no, there's a detention pond in the back that serviced that lot. You probably are looking at a previous version of the staff report that was sent out.
So how much of it is for the overflow pond?
Yes, sir.
How much is it for there? Is it take up all the wooded area, a third of it?
Yes, so it takes about a little bit less than half of it. But after we did the review to the property, it looks like some of that stormwater, some of that drainage from the other buildings to the side also drain into that. So in order for us to even make a determination, we're gonna need to know if that detention pond is actually working properly and if it's well maintained, if they want to be able to move forward.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the next business down from it is Wade Tractor.
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
And
That's correct.
how are they zoned?
C1B, heavy commercial.
Okay.
So
Just
if,
the difference being is they want outside storage.
yeah, so currently they're,
I understand this, but Wade Tractor has outside storage also.
Yeah, but
Yes,
they're
sir, but they
much
have-
smaller lot than
Uh,
that.
that is
The
true.
issue here is whether the size of the lot is suitable if they're gonna do U-Haul trucks and trailers to be able to have enough room to park them without interfering with either traffic flow or the detention pond in the back.
so,
That's the difference.
yes.
The traffic flow of the street in front of it,
Within the gas station. So we did a site visit. We talked to the owner of the business. He stated that his property or his commercial business was used as a U-Haul drop-off. And for the most of the time, the max U-Hauls that they would have would be 4 U-Hauls. Now, without having a designated area for those U-Hauls to be dropped off, they could just be parked anywhere. And so if something were to happen that involved emergency vehicles, be a fire truck or a sheriff's office or just some other personnel coming in, if the driveways were blocked in a certain way by those U-Hauls and the owner was not there to move them, that would impede any emergency services to be rendered or any other services to be rendered in that lot.
It just seems like we're a little inconsistent there because we have the tractor company, and I understand it's a much larger lot, but they have a lot, and it's not very, the last time I looked at it, it's not very well placed up closest to them, so that too, so are we being consistent with that?
If they had a large enough lot on this property, Mr. Allen, recommendation would be for them to allow it. That's the reason for it to be rezoned to allow the outside storage. The problem is the size of the lot, the detention pond, and the fact that the entire front is already paved and used for the circular traffic in and around to get to the store and also to get to the gas pumps. That's the only problem. If the lot was big enough, they would be the zoning to go to C1B would be perfectly fine.
We do too. We're familiar with the way it looked.
Size matters. Size matters.
Size doesn't.
That's, Mr. Allen, that's the reason your staff report has an alternative. It says denial, but if you're going to grant it, do the following, and the key thing on that is make certain the detention pond's functional.
Okay.
If I may just mention something, I actually think that there's YTS turbochargers, has a actual building and stuff in between there and the Wade tractor
I think you're correct.
with all the storage. So it's not just right against it, you know, all the storage of the tractors and stuff. The other thing, if you look at the picture that we're given there, you see that in that picture, even they've got a truck parked out in the grass island in the front of the building. And so that's the kind of things that they're wanting to do is, you know, go out there and park things in the grass and stuff like that, you know, would not be acceptable. You know, if we want to do it right and come in with a plan to do it right, I would think that would make sense, but, I think otherwise, the staff recommendations appear to be good.
My question is, that I agree with that and was going to mention that, but also the question is, do they already have drop-offs now?
Yes.
And are they trying to zone in order to come into compliance, or are they proposing a new venture?
So right now, they are being used as a drop-off, and they are doing the rezoning to come into compliance. This has been going on since last year, when we were called because the U-Hauls were parked on the side of the building, right at the curve to go out to Airport Road. We told them that they couldn't do it. If they wanted to, they could try and go the rezoning route. But they are still currently being used as a U-Haul drop-off. So if this were to be denied, well, recommended by denial by you and BOC, they would be, we would send code enforcement out there. There would be a violation.
Any other discussion?
One more, the question would be, if it were to be denied, how much if they were to come up with a schema to pave over the wooded area and provide a vault, for instance, to have stormwater storage for the entire development, as well as whatever's being served by that pond, could they come back and apply? And how soon could they come back and apply if they come up with a plan to do something with the remaining portion of the property?
So if they were completely denied, even at the BOC level, they would have to wait a year to come back.
And I might add, Ms. Upshaw, that's the reason the staff report basically gives them notice that can be addressed between now and February 22nd.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to deny based on staff recommendation.
Have a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded. Those in favor signify by raising the right hand. Do we have any opposed?
I abstain.
You're abstaining? Okay.
You'll need to state your objection or your reason for abstaining from the vote.
I just don't think we're being consistent with that is across the board.
Mr. Newton, sorry, Mr. Galloway,
Yes, sir.
is that a legal reason for abstaining from the vote?
Mr. Allen can abstain, in my view, for whatever reason he chooses.
Perfect. Thank you much.
And I think, though, we need to let Ms. Gonzalez know, if they want to get this approved at BOC, read the staff report, get the stuff in on traffic flow, and have the data showing that the detention pond is workable, working properly, and can be sustained even with additional trucks, okay?
Based on that, I'd like to change my vote to deny also.
Okay.
Okay, so it's unanimous. All right, next item on the agenda, application 20030Z, Wade Frame Properties LLC owner, Christopher Frame, agent,
This is a map
3616
field.
Fayetteville Road,
They know most of it.
approximately 18.5 acres located in landmark 6 of the 4th district. The applicant is requesting approval to rezone from C1A neighborhood commercial and R2 single family residential district to AR1 agricultural and residential. Do we have someone here to speak to it? Up to the podium, name and address for the record.
Christopher Frame and 3616 Fayetteville Road.
Okay. So you want to have a horse farm, is that it?
We're just trying to build a house, and that's about it. We spend a lot of time on the property, and we really enjoy it. It's a beautiful piece of property, and my wife and I would like to build our house there.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. Any discussion about this application?
This is a lot better use for that
I
track
agree.
than some of the ones we've
I
had
agree.
before.
I wanted to stand up and applaud, but I guess I didn't.
I'm just a little bit confused, and I admit that generally, but also on this property. There is a driveway, an existing driveway that comes out on 92. The picture that shows in the very first page in our document, shows it not aligned in that direction, so I was just confused by whether or not, which one of those two were true. So, thank you.
Can I see the documentation you're looking at?
Susan, scroll down.
Is it, put it up there, the site plan.
Keep coming.
That shows,
If I approach over here?
that shows the property coming to a point on Fayetteville Highway.
The driveway that we use is right here. And, I believe the reason this is laid out this way, there's an easement here for high voltage lines that come across. And so that's why we don't actually have road frontage. And we have an easement through, this lady's property here, to access.
Okay.
Ms. Gonzalez?
All right, so as you guys are aware of the history of Matthews, the split zoning on the subject property divides it between C1A, R2, and R1 zoning. Under the Spalding County 1962 zoning ordinance map, the subject property was rezoned M1 and catch all rule classification that allowed many often incompatible land use next to each other. Later, much of the frontage along State Highway was rezoned R2 for a distance of 500 feet from the right-of-way to construct duplexes. Under the 1987 Spalding County zoning ordinance, property that was previously zoned M1 was zoned AR1, which is agricultural and residential. In 2007, Mr. Bobby Dunn applied to rezone the portion of the subject property on which most of the improvements were located to C1A to use the portion as an event center. Now the applicant is wanting to come back and rezone that to AR1 completely, and that will also resolve the situation of the commercial zoning in between. We also gave them proposed zoning requirements for AR1, which illustrates the square footage requirements and setbacks. With all things considered, staff recommends approval.
Yes. Any further discussion from up front?
I'm good on that.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that this application be approved with, there are no staff conditions.
We have no staff conditions. This property's been such a mess for such a long time, and we've had so many bizarre uses proposed on there.
It was a relief.
It's correct.
We're happy to hear that.
We'd like to come out to your groundbreaking.
Matter of fact, the county used to have its Christmas party out there years and years ago.
I went to one of those.
Plenty of parties.
Okay,
We'd be welcome to have y'all again if you need to.
Mr. Chairman, you have a motion.
I'm good with that too.
okay, we have a motion to approve, do we have a second?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
those in favor signify by raising your right hand. It's unanimous. You can take it out of the sling if you need to, Frank.
I need to keep it in there if I get reckless when it's not.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Application 23-29S, Christopher Bassett, owner, 4619 Union Road, approximately 3 acres located in land lot 28 of the first district. The applicant is requesting approval for a special exception home occupation for a single operating hair salon. This property is currently zoned AR1 agricultural and residential. We have someone here to speak for that. We do not. Okay, we'll move on to the staff report then.
All right, so this application comes before you as a request for a special exemption for a home occupation general. He's requesting this because his wife is a hairstylist and would like to have her own hair salon within the home. It would just be her, no other employees. We do recommend approval with certain conditions, which includes applicable, to make sure that the house itself is applicable within the building codes and fire codes, and should be inspected and approved prior to an approval of a business license. And it must meet all the requirements set in the UDO, section 202, double L prime.
Okay. Any comment from the commission? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve with the conditions as noted by staff.
Have a motion to approve with conditions as specified. We have a second.
I'll second.
Second. Those in favor signify by raising your hand. It's unanimous. All right. assuming that you might be in control of this next item.
I would ordinarily. However, this is not ready for this evening. I miscommunicated. And I told her it needed to go in front of P and Z. It's got to come back to you in front of P and Z. And I thought we were doing it for February, and then it was put on tonight's agenda. So this is not yet ready.
Okay.
I will tell you the reason it's coming back, John. We forgot okay, let me back up a second. This ordinance was done, and y'all reviewed it, and y'all recommended approval. And then it sat. It sat for a long time and was not presented to BOC. It never made it on a BOC agenda. When Eva pointed this out, and I pulled the draft back up, in my mind, I thought it had gone to BOC, but it had not. And then when I pulled the ordinance out, we had forgotten to add in a provision for rooftop solar. So that is being added in to come back to you, which is the addition is what's causing it to have to come back to you. And then that will be ready by February.
Okay.
And I apologize, that was my misunderstanding.
Okay, we're down to the next item on the agenda, which are the minutes. And I'm not sure I've passed all my cognitive tests, but I don't remember, but I remember the meeting. I do not remember necessarily all the discussion, but it looks like they've been thoroughly edited. So we do have an editorial change.
I have yes. I was present for the September meeting.
Right.
So, and I made a bunch of motions.
Okay.
So,
She verified
I would
herself.
like to make a motion that well, if there's no more discussion, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion that they be approved with the correction that I was present at the meeting.
Okay.
And I did pass along some notations. There were some motions and seconds that were not denoted in there, and I had notes that showed those, so I'll pass those on to Eva as well. So
I accept that.
hopefully we can get
So we're
Get
good
that
on
worked out.
September the 26th.
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Okay,
So I'll second along with that.
all right, very good. Those in favor signify by raising your hand. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay. Well, since we don't have a director, I guess we can call on Dr. Steve to give us the state of the state.
So the state of the state is, we have made a conditional offer of employment for a community development director, and the offer was accepted. And it will be our privilege to introduce the person who has accepted the offer during the February meeting. So this individual will be coming to us on February the 19th, and I'm not going to speak for the staff, but I'm excited to have this individual come on board.
Excellent, excellent. All righty. Next item is the report of the commissioners. I'm gonna spare you guys around on trash tonight, so does anybody else have something that,
Yeah, I'd like to give an accolade to the commissioners. They stood tall with the planning commission on this issue out on Jewel Drive. And they've done right. And they all need to be applauded, because sometimes the issues that we bring before them don't quite make it with the intent with which it was sent. But they did real well.
very good. Anyone else? Okay. We're down to that magic moment. We'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Okay. Second. We're adjourned.
All right.